Hey folks, welcome back to Budgetography. Today, Steph and I have just spent the last half an hour out here on the docks out opposite Manhattan, getting some different flash portraits at night. Now, essentially you've got three different options when you're doing portraits at night, where you've got a strong backlight, where here it's the city backlighting us. One, you can just overexpose the whole frame like we're doing with the video camera right now, but that's using primo and really fast gear. We're using Sir Click-a-Lot Jr., the Nikon D3000.
It's so cute and tiny.
Right, that's what she said. Which is a crop camera and it's variable aperture lenses. So we're not going to get that kind of a blown out background. But option one is overexpose the frame, so you bring up the faces, background blows out. Second option, we're actually going to put a flash on the camera. On-camera flash I know has a bad rap, but it can be used for great effect. And then we're going to try putting a flash off camera and show the results we can get there. So now let's rewind in time and go back to when we came out just as the sun was starting to set and start the shoot. Kawaii! Drama. Hey folks, before we jump into this, head on over to mattgranger.com/gear. You can sign up to my mailing list there and you can download a free copy of my gear buying guide. It has all my thoughts from all the different equipment I've reviewed over these past few years. Check it out. Already at this time of night, I'm gonna have to go up to about 400 ISO, which is about as high as I want to go with this old clunker. So there I'm getting you, the background's blowing out almost, but we're kind of getting there. So why not? I was thinking to wait until it's all at the right light balance, but the truth is that is going to move really quickly. So first option, just before, whilst we're still kind of at that blue hour or just before, we'll shoot away with no flash. Then we'll go on camera flash, then we'll go off camera flash as we move through. So always good to let them stay as warm as possible, as long as possible. So if you want to whip the jacket off, hide your mic away, let's do this. This is how we do it. Budget homemade beanie and budget homemade dance moves. We're good to go. Right? Right? Not you. Your moves are cool. Get right in the corner though. Yeah, I want to have you just pretend you're on high heels so I can get you a bit up above the railing. So you see, these are just working. We're getting her exposed right, but it is already kind of bland in the background. If I drop the exposure back, so I'm going to do that with my shutter speed, drop it down by a stop, drop it like a stop, drop it like a stop. God, this guy can sing. Okay, we're getting some more interest in the background now, but where'd Stephanie go? She's gone. So, manual flash on. Recap my settings for you. There I'm at ISO 400, 1/160th of a second, f1.8. Now adding in the flash, let me guesstimate.
I think we have a boat coming.
Hey boat! That's nice, that's nice. This is all manual folks, so it takes a little bit of adjustments here and there. Oh no! You did blink!
I'm sorry.
You monster. Okay, let's get it before the boat. Okay, so I can already see through the viewfinder. We're starting to get some city light.
Oh.
So no flash, flash. So using on-camera flash has such a bad rap. And I get it, it isn't as flattering as getting the flash off camera, but at times it's just what you want. It gives you fill light and that's really all you need. It helps you balance out a foreground and a background. No, it doesn't give you interesting shadows, but for a lot of the time, people don't want shadows in their shots. It's just that it's a bit of a harsh light, but it's no harsher than shooting in direct sunlight. So flash on camera can be your friend. Once that boat's gone past and we get a little bit more color in the sky, we'll continue on camera and then we'll get it off camera with an umbrella. Okay, 10 minutes later, the tide's coming in, the light's going down, we're starting to get a bit more interest in the city. Again, with no flash. Actually, yeah, let's turn your body to face that way. The only thing is that fucking power plant is so ugly. Okay, so a little bit meh. Okay. So let's do one last calibration here at a 50th of a second. No flash. Look down at the growing water. Okay. Now, dropping it back to an 80th of a second, no flash, that's nice. Background nice and colorful now with Yodi flash in. Such a small amount of flash to give all of that feel. I'm actually down at under 100, sorry, I'm now down at 128th power. And it's just giving us plenty, you know, it might as well be daytime at this setting. It's quite nice. Now I just want the city lights to come on that little bit more to really give it some more light in the background. Then we'll bring the off-camera flash in. Flash onto the thing, putting it sideways because my ghetto connector is a bit loose. Then I'll just turn the flash head this way, on this side. Make sure the trigger's working. That looks like a yes by the fact that you are blinded. Okay, the umbrella does steal some light. Nice, simple, super cheap white umbrella. I'm gonna have you turn your back to the wall now. Trigger talks the flash, and hopefully everything comes together. Booyah, booyah, booyah. Let's bring it just around to here. Put it up a third of a stop. Oh, only challenge now is old mate really is having trouble to focus here, but it's pretty. Now, the fun thing here is I'm at 100th of a second at f1.8. Flash is lighting her. Now I can play with my shutter speed and it's only going to affect the ambient. It won't affect the flash. If you don't get why, check out our off-camera flash guide. So from 100th, I'm going to go down. That's nice. Hold that pose so I can come closer. From 100th, this is 100th with arms folded. Keep the arms folded for each of these shots. I'm going to go down to a 50th. And then up to a 200th. And you see the radically different results we get on all of those. And the only difference I'm making is my shutter speed. And so now that we're at ISO 800, I really don't want to be there. So I'm going to drop my ISO 2 stops to ISO 200. I'm going to drop my shutter speed down to a 50th, 2 stops. So that brings my background back up, but my flash is still doing the flash job. So can you put that up? Give it 5 clicks to the right. So it's actually 1 2/3 of a stop. So now we're getting that same shot, but we're getting it much cleaner because it's at ISO 200 instead of ISO 800. Now, just for giggles, let's try something a little bit silly. Put it up 3 more clicks to the right. Okay, so exposure there is looking quite good. 3 more stops to the right again. Now, let's see how this is looking. So everything I just did there was about trying to keep my exposures equal between the different variables of aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and the flash. So now that's the shot I'm getting where Steph's looking suitably cold. That's at a 1/6 of a second, which means if I want to, I can now introduce blur and movement into my background and still hopefully have her nice and sharp. So let's check that out. Just hold your pose nice and still. I've got to use a center focus point now because it's really suffering. Okay. Get a little bit of a twist going on. Let's do a wider twist. It's so funky. Okay, so it's now getting mucho dark in the background, and I can actually get an exposure here at an 1/8 of a second. Let's just it's changing so fast, make sure that's still working. So we finish off the shoot just introducing some different motion. Here a slight pull to the side, here actually zooming through the shot, here rotating with the flash keeping her frozen, here from a lower vantage point, and then here a bit wider, really separating out the city. Finally, from a higher vantage point, putting lots of movement through the Manhattan skyline. Okay folks, really fun shoot. If you want to learn more about off-camera flash, then please check out the express guide that Steph and I put out at the end of last year. Jam-packed with info, and it's at a really great price. Also, go on over and check out Steph's channel, Art School Dropouts. Loads of really cool content there. Let us know what you'd like to see in the future on budgetography, and we'll see you soon.
Bye
Ciao.
guys.